Hello, Tamara here, and nice of you to join me. Thank you ever so much for everybody that has signed up to do the first album maker trading page swap on the group. I really do appreciate your support. It's been amazing, so thank you. So we have done the page. I've done a video on the page, which is the pocket page that we are making to put into our books. So these are just two suggested books that you could do if you wanted to then put your pages into when they're finished. Now they're quite quick and easy to do. I have a cutting guide as well in the group. It will be in the guides part of the group, so you can then download it from there. So as I said, there's two separate books. You've got a more rectangle book, and then you've got a square base as well. Now the reason why they are rectangle and a little bit bigger than our page is because I've put in the extendable hinges on the book, and all that means is that when you put your page in, it's going to lay nice and flat, so you won't get it sticking up like so. Now I did have my page here ready, but it has disappeared. There we go. So as you can see, when I put my page in, it will lay flat against the base of your book, and even if you go all the way through to the front, it's going to just lay flat. So as you can see there, it's a bit hard to see with the black. I'm hoping that you can pick that up. So yes, so that's why I've got the extendable hinges. Now in the square one, it is quite a bit bigger than your page, so I've made the square one 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. Now the reason it's bigger is that we've got this extra 1/2 inch here, so that when you put your page in, when you close it, it's not going to come past your page, the edge of your book here. So in the video, we're going to make the square album, and because they are both made up in exactly the same way. As I say, it's just the shape of them. So I've cut my grey board out already. Now my grey board is 1.5mm in thickness, so it's quite nice and easy to cut with my trimmer. If you go any higher in your grey board, say like 2mm, you'll have to give it a double cut. So you need to cut it on one side, turn it over, and then cut on the other side. I never seem to get them in line, so I prefer to go down a size in my grey board. And it is pretty rigid as well. Once you get your paper and your cardstock on, it's not going to move. So that's what I've used. So to put them together, now I'm going to use the construction tape method, and this is available on my website, so you can buy it there. The other thing that I would suggest buying as well, if you haven't got them, is some gap guides, and the gap guides are going to be are there to help you get that lovely equal distance between your cover and your spine. It'll be that join. So my way of putting the books together is like so. So I'm just going to get one of each, so my spine and one of the covers, and I just put them like that so that I know that's what I'm gonna do. So getting your tape, I tend to reel off quite a bit and then hang the roll off the edge of my desk, and so that I've got that bit of tension on the roll. It just makes it easier. And then you put your page on half half off of the tape. So can you see that I've not got, it's like half on half off. So bringing in your gap guides, we're going to put one along the top like so. And then this one is going to come and do the same at the bottom. Now I'm using the 1/4 inch gap on these. because it's not too big a book, so I don't need that huge gap in between them. So I'm just going to move that over because that's not in right. So once you've done that, I'm going to just move it so that it's off the edge of my desk. There we go. Can you just see that there? And I'm just going to peel that gap guide off, and then do the same with this one. I'm going to peel that one off like so, and then keep hold of it, and then I'm going to bring that over to cover up the join on the inside, and the same with my roll. Just cut that off, and then bring that up as well, and then just burnish really well. Now this tape is really, really forgiving, so if you get a crease in it, you can iron it out with your Teflon tool. So I'm going to do the same with this one, half on, half off, gap guides in place, like so, 1 and 2, and then bring your second one in, and that goes just in between like that. And then just take your gap guides off again. There we go. Just ease that up, and then bring that over. Just a little bit of tension as you bring it over, so that you end up with a nice clean finish along the edge there. So bring that up, and then just burnish that down. So we're getting there, So next we're going to just cover the edges, because we want to make sure that all our edges are done, so that when we put our pattern paper on, it's all going to look nice and uniform. So with this one, I'm going to just snip that off like that, and then I'm just going to put it half on, half off. Now it doesn't matter that it's over, that's fine, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to just flip it over to the back, so that I've got the sticky side facing upwards. Now don't worry if it's not even on both sides, because when you come to put your pattern paper on, it's going to cover that. So with the sticky side facing up, I'm going to do a little jig, and then just fold it back on itself, so that you've ended up covering the both sides. So I'm just going to cut off my excess here, and again on this side, like so. Just burnish that down. I will give it a big burnish later on. So next we need to do the second long side. Now I always do the long sides first, and then the short side second. So again, half on, half off. Turn it over. Okay. And wiggle, 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 and then push over. Like so. Now I have got a little bit of a crease here. I don't know. Let me see. There we go. I'm just going to get that air bubble out there. There we go. And then just trim off that excess, like so. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the short sides. And the short sides are a little different, because we actually put the tape on the tippy top of the grey board. So this little tiny ledge here, or edge, and we're going to put it so that again it's half on, half off, so it looks a little bit like a T, if you can see that there. And with this, just burnish down the top so that you've got the tape stuck to the edge, and we're just going to mitre the corners, so mitre the excess bits off like so. So you've got some little arrows, and then I'm going to just push that down. So on this side I'm actually pushing it into the card, or the grey board. Just cut that a bit off. There we go. Then turn around and do the same on the other short side. And it goes on there like so. And you can do the same here. Just mitre those edges, or those corners should I say. There we go. Oops. And then smooth along the top and then push it down like so. And then I'm just going to burnish down all my tape on. I'll do both sides. There we go. So that then is our book sort of prepped, ready to go. So the next thing we need to do is your cardstock. So your cardstock we're going to cut. We need to cut a hinge mount and the actual hinges themselves. So for the hinges we need to cut these at, we're going to do the hinge mount first. So the hinge mount is going to be 6 1/4 by 5. Although you have got the measurements on the PDF. So I'm just going to take off that there, because that's my, that's one thing I forgot to mention and I should have done, is if you're cutting grey board, don't use a brand new blade. Always keep one of your old blades to cut your grey board with, because it will blunt your blade as quick as quick. So always keep a spare just as a grey board blade, and I've just marked mine with a little mark on the side there, so I know that that's what that is. So we're going to cut this down. And this is 6 1/4 by 5, I think I did this at, yes. 6 1/4 by 5. So that's your hinge mount. Then you need to do your first hinge, which is 3 1/2. And your second hinge is at 2 1/2. And you can get that all out of the same one piece of cardstock. So I'm going to put that away for the minute and bring in my scoreboard, and we're going to score our lines for our hinges. Now this is pretty simple, so it's every 1/2 inch, and we do that on all the way. This is the 3 1/2 inch one, and we do that all the way up to 3. Okay, so you've got lines, you can just about see the lines that I've got there, so put that over there. Bring in your second one, and you're going to do the same here. So 1/2 inch, so 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2, and 2. And I'll just go over the other hinge because I didn't actually say. So it is 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, and 3. Okay, that's all our hinges done. So you can put that one away. So for the hinges we're going to fold, so you've got one score line and then the next, so you've got 1, so 2. So on each side we're going to fold at the 2 inch score line, at the the second score line, and then you're going to fold that first score line over. So you've got something like that. So you're going to do that on the same page, on the other side, and fold back on itself. So that's 1 and 2. So that's one part, and then you're going to do the same with the other hinge. Okay, folding them over. So they look a little bit like a W. Do the same with this one. Like so. So that's your hinges prepped. The only thing we need left, we have got to do now with these, is just mitre the very corners of your hinge. And like so. Now doing this, because we've got a pocket page and it's the same size as our hinges, it won't go in, it will just fight to get in because it's the exact same size. So getting away from that, if you mitre your corners, it gives you that slip way to slip onto the hinge. So bringing in then your base and your hinge mount, I'm going to have it, my album on the inside is going to be where my joins of my tape are. Now I've got a little bit of my cardboard showing, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit of the construction tape just to hide that. Okay, with using the pencil now, we are going to just mark 1/2 inch on your spine on either side. Okay, like so. And that's going to give us a guide of where we need to put our spine mount. So I use both double-sided tape and glue, and I put my double-sided tape in between those two lines. Don't go past it if you can help it. And we're going to put it next to our joins, okay, on all 4 of those join points. So down like so, and again here. And then you're also going to put this on your spine mount as well. So that's those 4. And then on here 2. And then round. And then round again. Oops. There we go. So you need a pokey tool for this. I'm just burnishing all of that down just so that I get all those air bubbles out. Now, pokey tool. Then we can go ahead and take off all the backing. Like so. And then off of your hinge mount. Like so. Then I will add my glue, as I said, to the backing as well. So with the glue, I'm going to put it just over that double-sided tape, okay, and its sides as well. And also onto your hinge mount, as I said. Okay, that also gives you a little bit of wiggle room as well, because you need to make sure you get it as straight as possible. because you're going to use that as a guide when you put your pages on. So I think I'm happy with that. Then just burnish down really well. I always use my ruler, but if you've got anything that's long that you can do this, and I just use the ruler as a resist, okay, to bring up your pages, to crease where that join is, like so. And then give it a little bit of wiggle. There we go. And then you can see how nice and rigid that makes your album. Now bringing in your hinges. Now I'm going to use my gap guides again for this, and I'm going to use the 3/8 of an inch gap. So I'm just going to make sure that it fits. It does. So I'm going to just bring it up. I'm going to add a little mark just on the side there, and come and do the same with this side, and just add a little mark there, and then that is going to give me that nice distance between my covers and then my first hinge. So hinge, for your smaller hinge, you need to just add your glue on that small channel. Put quite a bit of glue because it's got to have quite a bit of welly on that, so when you turn in the pages and something, etc. So if you notice on your hinge here, I've got like 2 extra score lines in the middle. Now that's going to give our channel so that we can perfectly place our second hinges onto it. So I'm going to just use it as a guide. Bring that up. There we go. And then when you're happy, again, just burnish that down. There we go. So that's your hinge 1 on, number 2. So bringing it around again to the back, we're going to put glue over the bottom of the whole of that hinge. Again, quite a bit, because we want it to really, really stick. And then place it in between your 2 marks here. And you can line the top up with your hinge mount. So that's then our hinges in place. And then that's then the first, that's our book done. So bring in your page, and when you get your pages, you can then put them in like so, and then you've got that space then over this side to put a nice pocket page photo mat. So that is your album made, and all you need then to do is decorate it. Now I've done one of my swaps, so I can put that in. Now I've done them, so I won't show you the whole of the swap, but it goes this way, and then my page will go in, and then it will be ready then for my next page that we get next month. So thank you ever so much for watching. I hope this has been really, really helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it, and it then allows me to do these types of things where I can do them for free. So please do head over there and subscribe. And I can't wait to see everybody's albums and pages when they start to filter in. I will put a album in the photos in the group so that you can place all your album and all your pages in there. So Have a good rest of the day, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye, everyone.